Hi everyone, this is Bobby from bn-games.com, and we're doing another video review for Brutal Legend on the PlayStation 3, a game that was released in October of 2009, and an unappreciated title like that. Double Fine and Tim Schafer created Brutal Legend. They're also known for games such as Grim Fandango, Full Throttle, and Psychonauts. The game was released in between Uncharted 2 and Modern Warfare 2's release schedules, and was forgotten and not played by the general public at large, which is really sad because I believe this is Tim Schafer's his opus, his greatest masterpiece, and I don't think he'll ever create a game as good as this ever again. You embody the role of Eddie Riggs, who is a roadie. He is voiced, and his likeness is that of Jack Black, as you've seen in the intro. Eddie is a roadie who is unappreciated by the band he supports and is eventually murdered by him. After he is murdered by them accidentally, the metal god Armageddon transfers him to the demon world, as you can see here. In the demon world, he will meet many characters, many of them voiced by rock legends like Ozzy Osbourne, for example, as characters in the supporting roles. And eventually, he will meet the humans, other humans in this world that are struggling to fight off the demons themselves. Not only will he lead the humans to defeat the demons, he will also lead them to defeat Emperor Demiculus, who is the emperor of the demon world currently. Tim Schafer really has a knack for writing these games, story-wise. He's good at writing comedy in video games, which is an art form in itself, because unlike other mediums such as radio and television and movies, which have very short time frames, in video games it's hard to keep something funny and entertaining for the 8 to 10 hour campaigns that well, at least 8 to 10 hours that you'll be playing the single player campaign here. And as you can see, here's Ozzy, and one of the best moments of the game, if you ask me.
Well, it's about fucking time. Not bad. Looks like you figured out the instructions okay. You've got some demon flesh on your bumper, but that's the way the world is today, I'm afraid.
Who?
Oh, me? Oh, I'm nobody. I'm just a guardian of metal.
Oh, wow, great.
So, you want to help me fight demons and stuff?
Nah.
Most of the lore that Tim Schafer has employed is a lot of known quandaries with metal culture, metal music. In fact, a lot of the names and that sort of thing were ripped straight from bands and famous people in metal music in general. Rob Halford here, who's playing this role, actually plays a couple of roles. He's one of the better voice actors for the characters, and you can see there's a lot of conventions here that they use. As you can see right here, they're making fun of hair metal for the most part and glam rock for the mostly.
Your own men have decided that there is profit to be made from those little spiders of yours.
Are you done talking? I'd like to get this over with.
Don't worry, this won't take too long. I know how to handle petty labor disputes.
There's nothing quite like a man who can fly away with his hair, is there?
Ridiculous.
I think this game's strongest aspect, generally is the story. Even from as diverse as the gameplay attempts to be, there's nothing quite as strong as the characters and the character development, the humor, and just the general motivations of the characters and how they develop. also as well as the history that you learn about each one, and as you go along through the world, finding out how the world became what it was, how metal came to be. Brutal Legend is not afraid to tell you and to show you that it is a great looking game. Once in a while you might have a little frame stutter here and there, but generally this game is all about showing you that this world is full of character, and every aspect is calculated for effect. As you see, you have the skull mountain here,
Lars!
and some really, this shot right here is very telling of how the game is not afraid to be up close. It wants you to see the details. It wants you to understand that it's good with character, facial expressions, and it wants you to see this up close. It will bring the camera in, like this right here. You'll find these viewing stations all over the world, and they will show you parts of the world where you're at, like this amp mountain. You know, those are all amplifiers, and it's a mountain of them. And it's not afraid to just show you this, and it knows that this world is interesting, and it makes you want to see the world. You want to find these things and look at the world, because it's just, the world itself is a character on its own, and there's nothing quite like it. It's just as strong as the characters themselves who speak. It really helps embody the entire experience, and it's what really sells the game. And as you can see, the characters have some great visual expressions. When the camera's in front of them, you can tell what they're thinking based on how their faces. It's not as realistic as LA Noire, which is current, but you can tell what's going on. You can tell their feelings and their emotions, and even during the comical sequences and that sort of thing.
What do you do with a bunch of kids who don't know how to
And
do
the voice
anything but bang their heads all day
acting
long?
is spot on.
You start a revolution, Lars.
It's delivered with such conviction.
Right now! It's time to sound the battle cry.
Have you been looking at my sword?
You watch that part multiple times, and you get these excellent shots that just pan to show you. There's just the creative genius of this game in general, just to go around to see what they've done with the lore that they've created, and if not just the lore, but taking the culture and just taking it to the max, and putting it in this visual aspect to create this world of metal. Especially for me, it's something else. It's a dream come true. I mean, in reality.
What treachery is this? No one shall kill Lion White this day but I.
Brutal Legend starts out as a hack and slash. You could call it a basic God of War if you want to get down to it. You pick up a basic axe and you have some basic melee combat capabilities. Just go around slashing and killing enemies with this axe. The axe can be upgraded later with different elements and additional powers, such as electricity and fire. Those sorts of things will increase attack value, and if you catch someone on fire with an axe blade, for example, it might still hurt your enemy that you're attacking in general. Your secondary weapon is Clementine, your guitar. This acts sort of like a distance weapon, because you can hit enemies from a distance. When you tap the button, he plays notes which cause lightning and fire, with eventual upgrades to attack enemies who are in front of you. In combination, it can be used for other special powers later on, such as Earthshaker, which basically causes an earthquake and can push multiple enemies away from you and cause... It's used for some specific sequences to allow certain events to happen, such as here. And for the most part, the first half of the game, you're going to be going around slashing things and just killing enemies in this fashion for the most part. After you get upgrades, you get combinations, and a lot of rock-focused moves are based on that. Your second use of the guitar is these little songs, which account really as spells.
It's a devil screaming. It's an angel singing. It is the pounding of creation's hammer upon the anvil of time.
It's fucking awesome.
It's called heavy metal, and it's the real reason you should bang your heads, not for that guy.
For the most part, these guitar songs are, they're, like I said, they're spells. You'll learn them as you find them in the field, and they have different effects. Some of them are offensive, and some of them are defensive, and some are very specific to the second half of the game, which is focused on being a light RTS, or in other words, a real-time strategy game. This one right here is Face Melter, is one of my favorites. You can take out an entire group of enemies almost with just this one solo, as you can see here. You also encounter the eventual boss, very traditional in that aspect. Although, for the most part, the story after the second half turns completely into a real-time strategy game, which is thought of, or story-wise is considered as a show here. And in the story, you will pick up characters after certain points that are, different unit types. And along with that, you'll have the song types, which help command them, to rally them, to give them extra boost power, like I just did right there. And also to open up different merch booths, which really become resources. It is a light RTS in the second half in general. You'll go around commanding units, telling them to attack certain parts, and you'll be spawning them. You'll be playing your guitar on the field, trying to get, for multiple effects. It really depends on the situation. You also have these chase sequences, as you can see here, in between missions where you protect the tour bus. Along with that, there is a multiplayer suite. As of this point, it is pretty much dead. If you don't have a friend who owns Brutal Legend, the multiplayer suite is pretty much useless to you. But if you have a friend who has the game or is willing to pick it up, it is an interesting experience. It is you can set up private matches. But if you're picking up the game as of this review, don't expect anyone to be in the lobbies waiting to take on your metal army. And on top of that, you can play as the different factions that you eventually meet in the game. So you're not just stuck as Eddie Riggs' army. You pick up the other two primary ones, and you'll play on the various battlefields of the single player. Brutal Legend came out with some. If you bought it new, you could. It came with a couple songs for Rock Band 3 that you can unlock. As well, there was a Battlefield pack that was released later, but it's kind of useless to you now, considering the multiplayer's dead. It's really an 8 to 10 hour experience, single player experience, and that's really what it's worth. Unfortunately for the developers, the game lost its value, but for you, it's great because you can pick up the game for under $20 now, even new if you're lucky enough. And I really encourage that. It's really a game you should have in your collection, at least to give a try. And for the price, it's phenomenal at this point. I picked it up when it first came out, and I don't regret it at all. It was really worth every penny. And for the price, I suggest you go and get it. As I said, Brutal Legend is a heavily unappreciated title on both the PS3 and Xbox 360. I really feel bad that no one really played this based on all the other great games that came out that year. That's why I'm doing this review. I feel that it's a game that you should go back to if you've never played it. It's really worth your time, and it's an excellent game just from a narrative perspective for the characters and the humor alone. I know people are not usually too crazy about RTS or real-time strategy on consoles, and that's understandable, but the game is really light on that, and the controls work for the most part very well. If you have some difficulty, you just turn down the If you're having difficulty, you turn down the difficulty, and that can get around any of the control issues you're having. But it can be a challenge when you want it to be, and it's a fair challenge, and it's an interesting game, through and through. It's not only an RTS; it's an open world game. You go driving around this world of metal, and you find out, seek its lore, and you upgrade your car, and you can listen to the 150 metal tracks, more than 150 metal tracks unlockable at any given time. It's an experience that's very unique, and it's, like I said, it's a shame that unappreciated, by the masses. I would say even at its price right now, even if you have to pay $20, it is worth the price of admission, and that the slow releases as of right now, it's a great game to pick up before all the summer blockbusters and then eventually the fall and winter blockbusters. If you never played Brutal Legend, you need to go buy it. Simple as that. And like I said, this is Tim Schafer's opus, and I don't think he'll ever create a game as good as this ever again. Unfortunately, there'll probably never ever be a sequel either, which is a sad fact for me. But I'll take it as it is for now. I love Brutal Legend, and I heavily recommend it. It is a 5 out of 5.
Wait, what do I have to do for a fire tribute?
Please the fucking gods of metal, man. Figure it out.
Right, okay. I'll be back soon, covered in metal god love.
Oh, God.